Hi, everyone. This is Melissa Anger. I want to thank you and for joining us tonight for the 2018 Soccer Preseason Coaches webinar. As you all know or do not know, I am the staff lead for Special Olympics Maryland. On the line, we also have Bob Lyles, our head official. He took over as head official last year and has done an amazing job, and he's really excited to join back in, so we'll hear from him later on. Also on the line, as our moderator, we have Steve Bennett. During the webinar, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and raise your hand, or to get your question answered a little bit quicker, we have the question panel that you can just type the question into. Steve will be monitoring that, so if you have any questions, go ahead and type it into there, and he will answer it for you right there. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to try to get through this as quickly as possible without missing anything or rushing, so that we don't take up too much of your time tonight. So on the agenda, I kind of just did the welcomes and introduction. We're going to go through some of the events offered, some of the rules, hear from Bob possibly about some of the rules that he sees the most coaches having issues with, so that we can kind of work on those, some deadlines, talk about some coaches training, some other opportunities that we have this year, as well as the new team assessment forms. So I know you guys are all looking forward to that one. Then finish off with some administrative fun paperwork stuff. So as always, the events offered, we have 7v7 for all adult teams, which unified and traditional, 5v5, which are all of our youth age teams, which is elementary, middle, and high school teams. We also have unified and traditional there. We also have 7v7 player development unified, also known as PDU. That is with the mentors and the athletes on the field together. And then finally, we always have our individual skills competition. This year, the state tournament will be held on Sunday, October 28th. Again, the great host at Crown Sports Complex are having us back down in Fruitland, Maryland, right next to Salisbury. So I'm going to go over some of these rules. We do have some new rules coming sometime in the next month or two. We are not going to implement them, sorry about that, until 2019 season. We don't want to bring those in halfway through the season. Unless there's a health and safety rule, then we'll add that in as soon as we find that out. Roster sizes for any of the 7v7, which is unified, traditional, or PDU, a minimum roster of 10 and a max of 14. Okay? Just a reminder, real quick, unified sports, you have to have 4 athletes and 3 unified partners on the field to start the game. As a reminder, you can go down to 3 and 3 or 3 athletes and 2 partners due to any injuries or anything like that to finish a game, but you must start with the 4 and 3, okay? That is a must. And you can never have more partners on the field than you do athletes, okay? That's always something you got to remember. If you come to a qualifier and you only have 2 unified partners, you cannot add in a 5th athlete. Unfortunately, that makes you ineligible to play and will disqualify your team. So you must have the 3 and 4 to start games. 5v5, a minimum roster of 8 and a max of 10. Okay? Again, for unified, 3 athletes and 2 unified partners to start the game. You can go down, this was a new rule last year, to 2 and 2, or hopefully this doesn't happen, as low as 2 athletes and 1 partner. To finish a game, that's if there's any injuries or anything, any ejections or anything like that. But again, you must start with 3 athletes and 2 partners for unified. In traditional, you must start with 5 athletes to start the game. 7v7, you have to have a minimum of 10 on your team and a max of 12. This number includes the mentors. They are considered players, so this is included in your roster. You cannot come to me with 14 athletes on your team plus your mentors. It does not work. At all times, you must have 5 athletes and 2 mentors. Okay, you cannot have 6 and 1 or 3 and 4. It has to be 5 athletes, 2 mentors. Okay, once the rosters are sent to me, no changes can be made. You cannot swap players around on multiple. If you have multiple teams in a county, you cannot exchange or loan out players from another team for a game. You must, once these forms or team assessments are sent in to me, that is your final roster, no changes. Age groups for soccer, elementary school is 8 to 11, middle school 12 to 15, high school 16 to 21. PDU, it's 22 and above. If you have, we don't really look at the rules for PDU as much for the age grouping. We can't have like an 11-year-old with a 25-year-old, obviously, but we're a little more lax on the PDU ages. For 7v7, everyone is 22 and above. If you have someone younger, you can try to send in an exemption form. That does not mean it's going to be approved just because you send the form in. Okay? I'm not going to go through all these. Please read through this, and if there's any questions, let me know. Soccer field dimensions, same as always. Nothing's changed. Timing for a 7v7 game, 2 20-minute halves, 5-minute halftime. For 5v5 and PDU, they're both 2 15-minute halves with a 5-minute halftime. Again, depending on the competition and any kind of circumstances, this may change, but this is what it typically is, and this is what it most likely will be at the soccer state tournament. So PDU. We don't usually have too many PDU teams, so I just want to go over this real quick. Again, I'm not going to go over it word for word, just because, coaches, you can read these. And make sure you please read these. PDU, for those that don't know, is a transition level between skills and team play. So this is for those athletes that are learning how to play the game of soccer. Most of the time, they come from the individual skills competition, move up into team play, so this is a great way for them to learn the game. A great way to think about it is 5v5 soccer with 2 coaches on the field. There are many things that the coaches can and cannot do, the mentors can and cannot do. Best thing to think about, like I said, they're coaches on the field. So some of the things they cannot do, they cannot play defense on anyone. Other mentors, athletes, they cannot get in the way. They cannot steal the pass. They cannot control the ball or the game at all. Okay? Big thing is you cannot score. We'd like the athletes to bring the ball down the field. The mentor can be next to them, but they cannot be the one dribbling the ball. They need to be directing them and helping the athletes down the field. So again, obviously did not read through these all word for word. Read through this. If you're going to have a PDU team, you got to know these. Your mentors have to know these. Okay? If you have any questions, please feel free to call me or email me. I'll be more than happy to help you out with those. All right, uniforms. Everyone obviously has to be in proper uniform to compete. All have to match. I'm not going to read through all this. This is all very basic stuff. Read through this. Make sure your uniforms are in accordance with the rules. Okay? Goalkeeper, a big thing is goalkeeper should wear colors which distinguish himself from other players to make sure they don't match your team. Make sure they have a different color. Most goalie uniforms come in bright neon colors. That's the perfect thing to do. No jewelry of any kind. If one of your athletes has a medical bracelet, medical alert bracelet or anything like that, it must be taped down or worn under a sweatband so that it cannot hurt another athlete. by mistake, obviously. But make sure if they cannot take that off, they put something to cover it, and tape it down is the best thing. Okay? No Fitbits, no stepwatches, no watches, none of that can be worn. Okay? A huge thing, everyone should know this, shin guards have to be worn at all times, and they must be covered by socks. You can't just have the open shin guards out. Officials will be checking this, and before every game, they're going to be checking to make sure you have the shin guards. Make sure all your athletes are wearing the shin guards. So, principle of meaningful involvement. I'm, again, not going to go through these slides word for word. Please, please, please look through this. Pretty much the principle of meaningful involvement is to make sure every athlete is playing and they're having a good experience and they're not being pushed off and just standing on the field, okay? You can't have any players who are dominating and not passing to their teammates. Every teammate should be able to contribute to their team, okay? That's the big thing to take away from the principle of meaningful involvement. Everyone should be able to contribute, and everyone will contribute in some form or way. And standing off to the side saying, hey, you're going to play defense right here and not move is not contributing. Okay, make sure all the athletes have a good experience. Again, like I said, not dominating. Make sure you're subbing fairly. Okay, I know some of these games get really intense and really competitive. That does not give you the right to not play someone that may not be at the same level as some of your athletes. You need to play everyone, preferably everyone fairly. Everyone must play each half. Okay? And please do not come to me and say, so-and-so didn't play, he only played 1 minute. I will take it up with the coach, the other coach, but the only thing I can do is talk to them. Okay? Don't make me have to go talk to you about meaningful involvement and playing all your athletes. Do the right thing. Make sure you play everyone. Okay, so the deadlines for the fall registration. The training deadline is September 10th. Okay, this is when you need to get your roster to all of your area leadership, and they put it into our GMS, Games Management System. Okay, this is where they'll put them into training, and we'll go from there. No one, if they're not on that training roster, they're not eligible for the state competition. So we got to make sure everyone is put on that roster. Obviously, everyone makes mistakes. We will send out rosters afterwards. Make sure those get double checked and everyone gets put on there. Team assessments. So there's a little asterisk next to this because I know this is very early in the season. Okay, September 6th is extremely early. That's before the training registration deadline. I understand that. You'll see on one of the next couple of slides, the first competition that we have scheduled is September 8th, which is one of the Harrow County League dates. So I want to make sure I get the team assessments prior to that, okay? So send me your team assessments by September 6th. Again, I understand this is early, okay? If for any reason there needs to be a change, someone needs to be taken off, no one can be added to the roster. But if someone needs to be taken off or you need to make a switch for a certain reason, come to me and talk to me about it. I might okay it, I might not. Okay? So all team assessments due to me by September 6th. Okay? It'll be emailed to me. We'll talk about the team assessments later in the webinar. Last day to submit missing paperwork is September 20th. Everyone, athletes, volunteers, coaches, everyone, Unified Partners, their paperwork should be valid through, that should say 10/28, not 10/20. It should be to the soccer state tournament, which is on, again, October 28th. So all their information should be valid through October 28th, okay? If it expires before that, they need to turn in that paperwork before September 20th, okay? Or they're not going to be eligible. No one at all should be participating, volunteer, coach, athlete, without a valid medical or volunteer application or concussion training or protective behaviors. All of that needs to be completed prior to stepping on the field for the first time. Competition deadline really doesn't apply to team sports because I enter everyone into GMS, but I kept that on there because that's one of our dates for our competition deadline. But again, I will enter everyone into their team, so you don't have to, your areas do not have to worry about putting them in to the competition. I will do that for you, okay? And that is based off of your team assessments that you send me. So as of right now, these are all of the competitions that we have scheduled. I'd like to get some more, preferably. I know this is a lot already, but I'd like to get as many as we possibly can. So if you have a team, your county should host a qualifier, even if it's a home and away series with another team that's competitive with you. So Howard County, again, like always, we love Howard County and their league play. They will be going every Saturday starting September 8th, okay? Every Saturday until October 13th is the last one. Okay, they will be taking a break on October 6th because of the required adult qualifier competition on October 7th. But every other Saturday, if you can't find a competition, call John, and John will get you in to try to get you into his. So as you guys know in the past, this is a very popular competition, which means that just because you email John does not mean that you are into his qualifier. You got to wait till you hear back from him, and please give it some time. If you email him now for the September 29th qualifier, he might not get back to you right away. Give him some time. He will get back to you, I promise. Okay? He's not going to ignore you. He will let you know that he got your registration and that if you are good or not. Okay? I promise. For required qualifiers, every level has a required qualifier except the individual skills. The 5v5 required qualifier will be taking place as part of the Howard County League play. So we'll still have league play for 7v7 teams on September 29th, but all 5v5 teams are required to be there. Okay, this is going to be your required qualifier. If you're going to come to the state tournament, got to be there. For all adult teams, 7v7 adult teams, this is unified and traditional. Your required qualifier will be at the Severn School on October 7th. Okay? All teams that plan on going must attend. For PDU teams, we're going to do the same thing as we do with 5v5. We did this last year. It's going to take place at the Howard County League as part of it. So there will be Howard County 7v7 teams there as well, but it's also going to be all the required qualifier for the PDU teams. Okay, this is a huge thing. Montgomery County, thank you, is hosting 2 qualifiers for us this year. We had the one date for the 23rd. The second date we're still waiting on. Once we hear back from that, I will get those dates out to you. And finally, Calvert County, again, will be hosting their qualifier on September 23rd as well, down in Calvert County. It's always a great qualifier. I went to it last year. It's a very small qualifier because a lot of teams don't want to travel, but it's a great qualifier. They have some great competition down there. It's usually St. Mary's in Calvert County. Last year, Maryland School for the Deaf came. So if you want some good competition, you got 2 days, 2 qualifiers to choose from for that Sunday. You should come. They're great times. Okay. Here's all the contact information for those. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. If you like to host a qualifier or competition, send me an email with the sanction form and all the information, and I will get that right out to all the teams. Okay. Live coaches trainings. We have 2 set up for you. The first one is going to take place on Sunday, August 18th at Cedar Lane Park East. That's right where the Howard County League dates are. So it's the same place. It's a great park. We're going to start at noon. I know in the survey it says starting at 8. We're going to start at 9. Come ready to participate. It's a great training. Even if you've already certified, come on down, okay? It's really interactive. John McDonough and Russ Dickens run it for us. They're awesome. They know their stuff. It's a great time, okay? Sunday, September 16th is another coach training that we're having at McDaniel College. And this is going to be taking place at the same time as the athlete clinic that I've sent out multiple times, okay? This is going to be an awesome day. So you can bring your athletes. They can go through the clinic. You can have your coaches training. Again, even if you go to the one on the 18th of August, come on back to McDaniel. You're going to learn something new. Okay, it's going to be a great time. Below is the registration link. I'll send this out so you guys have it. But it's both of them. They're going to be awesome. You're going to learn a lot. So if you can, come on out to one or both of these. Team assessment forms, favorite thing. So all teams have to complete the team assessment form. We are using a new form, which I will go over next. Each team has to do this. This is used for divisioning purposes, mainly for the beginning of the season, and then once the season kind of gets going, we look more at the results. But this is a great way to start out the season, especially with the new teams, so we can find the best matchups. Please do the best you can with these. I know they're very subjective. I'm doing everything I can, myself and my sports management team, to make these as unsubjective as possible. It's very difficult. Everyone's going to rate themselves differently. If you need help, or if you would like someone to come out and help rate your team with you, let me know. I will get myself or one of my management team members out there to help you. We are here to help, okay? And again, your team assessment form acts as your final roster, so please make sure these are extremely accurate. So team assessment forms, like I said, they're going to be new. It's a little more in-depth than we're used to, okay? So this form right here, this is the individual rating form. So you're going to do one of these for each of your athletes, okay? I don't need these. I only need the summary form, which is the next page. But for each of your athletes, you're going to fill in the one that most accurately correlates with that one player, okay? Goalkeeping, obviously, not everyone's a goalkeeper, but kind of still do that for every single athlete, okay? Go through these, be as in-depth as you possibly can, and be as honest as you can with these. Once you have that for everyone, you're going to go to this form, which is the next tab over on the Excel sheet that I will send out. Fill this out completely, okay? You're going to fill in the roster and fill in the numbers from this individual rating form on this page. You're going to fill it right into these gaps right here, okay? It's going to total it up for you. It should total it up for you. You're good to go, okay? Please, please, please fill this out. Make sure this is good and send this to everyone. Fill this out for everyone. Send this to me as an Excel sheet. I do not want a PDF of this form, please, okay? No offense to anyone in particular, but sometimes I can't read handwriting. So if you send it to me Excel sheet, there's no miscommunication, no issues there. Once I get all the team assessment forms, I will put them together in a Excel sheet with contact information. So please, please, please make sure all the top part is filled out with your contact information so that I can make a big sheet of contact list and send that out to all the coaches, okay? That way you have the team ratings for everyone as well as contact information if you would like to set up a home and away scrimmage or anything like that, okay? So this will be sent out with the webinar slides later tonight. Coach's Code of Conduct. I am not going to go through all of these, the next couple of slides. Read them. We are going to take these seriously. Okay, this is not something that we're just going to kind of breeze over like we usually do. This is something that we will take action on if something happens. Biggest thing is respect. Respect your team, your athletes, your partners, the other team, the other coaches. A big thing, please respect our officials. They are all volunteers. They are great soccer officials. If they make a mistake with a call, talk to them. Do not yell at them. Just talk to them. Okay? Maybe it's their first time officiating Special Olympics and they called offsides by mistake. Okay? Talk to them. Say, hey, just so you know, we don't do offsides. Make sure they know. Okay? But do not yell at them. They are volunteers, just like you. Respect is a huge thing. If I see anything that goes against the Coach's Code of Conduct, I will say something to you and there will be action taken. Okay? Like I said, I'm not going to go through these. When you get this in the next day or two, go through this, read over it. Okay? We are going to be making, this will be at the top of our priority this year. Okay? How to qualify for the state tournament. As I mentioned, make sure all the paperwork is done. Make sure everyone has the right certifications. And you have to go to a minimum of 2 sanctioned competitions. The required qualifier counts as one. The other is any other competition with another team there. Okay? If you can go to more than 2, go to more than 2. I want you to go to as many as you possibly can. Okay? Having just 2 gets kind of boring because you only go to a lot of practice. We want to make sure these athletes have as much game competition as they possibly can. That's a huge thing. Obviously, practice is important, but game competition, game experience is also very important. And that's what our athletes have told us multiple times over and over that they want. They want more competition. So go to as many of these qualifier competitions as you possibly can. It's only going to help your team in the long run. Okay? So as you all know, I've said this out already. We have 2 awesome opportunities with some local colleges. The first one is September 16th that I talked about. It's the McDaniel College Clinic. The women's soccer team is going to be hosting this skills clinic where the first half they're going to be working on skill stations with the team leading. And then afterwards, they're going to get mixed in with the women's soccer team from McDaniel and get to play some unified games, which is going to be a lot of fun. So if you please send this link out to your whole team, okay? If you have people that want to come to this, we have a ton of room, and there's still a lot of room left to sign up. Send this out to people. Make sure that if they want to come, please get them to come. This is going to be a great opportunity. The women's soccer team at McDaniel is awesome. They've been working with our Carroll County Unified Soccer team. Great relationship. We want to extend that out to everyone. So send this out to your athletes, please, please, please. Get them to come out. It's going to be a great day. Okay, the second one is Notre Dame of Maryland University, which is down in Baltimore City across the street from Loyola College. We have the opportunity to have 2 of our teams play at halftime of one of their games on the 23rd of September. So it'll be a quick halftime game during their halftime. So it'll be like 5-10 minute game, shortened. It does not count as a qualifier competition, but it's a fun thing to do. We're going to get 2 teams. If you're interested, send me an email. But we want to get some teams down there, cheer on Notre Dame of Maryland Gators, and just have a good time. It should be a really cool experience. So if you're interested, if your team wants to come down, let me know, and we'll get that set up for you. Soccer divisioning night. So divisioning night, for those of you that don't know, I started it last year at the soccer season. I have a couple coaches come in, and they help me set the divisions for the state tournament. Okay? It's a way to give coaches some more input. So if you are interested in being part of this team, it's going to take place on Monday, October 22nd at the SOMD office in Baltimore. just because you sign up through this link does not mean you're going to get selected to come. Okay? I want to get a good amount of coaches here, but I don't want to overwhelm it. Okay? So I will, for those that are interested, sign up through this link. And again, I'll send this out in the webinar or in the follow-up email. But sign up if you're interested in coming out. I've done it so far. Like I said, I started in soccer last year, and I did it for all the team sports in 2018, and it's been a huge success. It takes some pressure off of me from doing all the divisioning myself, and it gives the coaches an opportunity to have their voices heard. So that way, it's not just SOMD is saying this. The coaches give their input. And as you all know, I always take the coach's input. Don't always take it. I always listen. So if you're interested in coming to divisioning night, you'll get fed some pizza, and we'll have some fun looking at my wall of crazy. And for those of you who've been to a divisioning night with me, you understand what that means. So if you're interested, sign up through this link, and when it gets a little closer, I'll reach out to those that have been selected to come and help out. So at this time, we're going to open it up to some questions. If anyone has any questions about anything we've talked about so far or anything, go ahead and raise your hand, and we will unmute you so that you can talk.
And while we're looking at the questions coming in, thank you, John McDonough, for pointing it out. In one of the live coaches trainings slides, it was mentioned Sunday, August 18th. It is Sunday, but it's not the 18th. It's actually August the 19th. So again, thank you, John, for pointing that out. I've corrected it in the slide, so when we send it out to everyone, the new date, the accurate date will be in there. So again,
sorry, John.
Sunday, August 19th is live coaches training at Cedar Lane Park East.
So Lisa, I see your question. It's a lot to answer right here. I will reach out to you after this is done. I'm not really sure who's going to take over for LaDonna, but I will reach out to Ron Freeman, who is the Baltimore regional director. He should know. I'll make sure I get you that information, and I'll answer all your questions separately. I'll send you an email later tonight so that we don't take up everyone else's time for that. All right, Don, I just sent you the pin. You got to put that in first to talk. Okay. Whitney. Okay, go ahead, Whitney. You should be unmuted. Maybe? Whitney, you might need to unmute your own phone, but you are unmuted on our end. Can you hear us? All right, sorry, it looks like we will be having a little bit of issues here.
Whitney, I do see your question that you typed in. I'll send that out. But basically, the question was, will the slides be sent out and be available to everyone? Just so everyone knows, yeah, we will send out the slides as well as the recording either today or by tomorrow. So you will have these to use as a reference and a guide to walk you through. And again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to give Melissa an email or give her a call. Thanks, Whitney. Hopefully that answered your question.
Don, you should be unmuted and should hopefully be able to talk.
Okay, question. Can you hear me?
Yes, we got you.
Okay. For skills qualifiers, a question came up from our coach on skills. Do they also need to do 3 qualifiers?
They need to do 2. One in-house is fine, as well as one multi-county competition. There's no required qualifier for skills, but we would like them to still go to 2.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Don. Hey, Bob, can you talk? Are you on? I
Can you
unmute.
hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
Hi,
cool.
Bob.
Hi. Hope
Is
everybody
there
had a
anything
good summer.
you'd like to say to the coaches? Anything I missed or didn't go over or anything like that?
I don't think so. The one correction I would have is that Tom Bailey is the head referee forever. My title is that I gave myself is referee coordinator so that I'm not confused with him. And we have done some work this winter to get more referees, and we've got 40 new names of people who are interested in refereeing soccer for Special Olympics. So we will have, as Melissa said earlier, we will have some newcomers. We'll try to get them trained up in specific Special Olympics rules. That's not that hard. And there's a great deal of enthusiasm. Plus, this group is going to be a lot younger than all of us old guys who've been doing this for a while. So hopefully they'll be carrying on for a long time in the future and able to support Special Olympics. With respect to the sort of behavior stuff that Melissa was talking about earlier, in 12 years of refereeing Special Olympics soccer in Maryland, I cannot think of an instance where I've had a problem with a coach or a parent. And behavior problems with athletes are very, very few and far between, and almost always resolved by explaining what's going on to them, and then they understand. So that has never been a problem for us. I know that last year's state tournament, because we had to move it indoors, was a bit problematic just because we were indoors. Hopefully we don't have to do that again. But I'm always willing to hear from coaches if they perceive problems about rules or about safety issues. We try to keep everybody safe, but it is a contact sport, and that can be a problem from time to time. So you can always get to me through Melissa. I'm also willing to have people contact me directly about referee issues. My email is rliles1953@outlook.com. And Melissa can also pass that on in her materials that she sends you after the call.
I sure can. Awesome. Thank you, Bob. And we are so excited that we have so many new officials coming in. And again, coaches, be nice to them. They are volunteers. Awesome. We want them to keep coming back. So thank you, Bob. I appreciate it. And we really do appreciate everything that you do for our athletes.
My pleasure.
All right. So we are going to go into the fun paperwork, administrative stuff. So no athlete in any shape or form, or volunteer, or coach, or unified partner can participate without a valid current medical form or volunteer application. This is huge. It cannot be done. This is a huge liability for us and you if they are competing without these proper paperwork. Okay? Make sure your entire team is set before the season starts. Okay? There are no exceptions to this rule. Work with your area leadership to get all these dates so that you know when all the expiration dates are, and so that you're aware and on top of things with this. So just work with your area leadership. Everyone should know who they are. If you do not know who your area leadership is, let me know, and I will be more than happy to direct you in to that person. Again, athletes cannot participate without the valid medical. The medical is about 5 pages long, and we're going to go through this. I'm not going to read through all this because it's the same for every single sport. This is not soccer specific, but medicals are good for 3 years. So page 1, when you're going through these medicals, when the athletes turn them in, please make sure these are completed from top to bottom and everything is completely filled out. Okay? It's a lot of information, but we need all of it to be filled out. Okay? Even this waiver, this is the last page of it, the athlete waiver. Please make sure everything is filled out. Volunteers. That includes coaches, unified partners, any volunteers that just come help with the team, coordinators, everyone must complete the volunteer application. That also includes protected behaviors. Okay? Anyone that's participating that is not an athlete has to complete the volunteer application as well as protected behaviors. Okay? These forms are also good for 3 years. If you have someone that is under the age of 18, so 17 and below, they don't need a new form until they turn 18. Okay? Once they turn 18, they need a brand new form, because at that point we will submit a background check. Okay? So every single person from 8 and up, unified partners, coach, volunteers, must complete this form. We do not need your social security number, so don't worry about putting that on there. Okay? The big thing, make sure every single piece of this is completed. For the emergency contact, all of it needs to be completed. The reference, please make sure you have a reference on here, or it will get sent back to you and say it's incorrect and that person is not eligible to participate. Big thing on here is make sure these 5 questions at the bottom of the page are answered. This is page 2 of the volunteer application. Okay? Read through this, make sure you agree with it, sign it, turn it in. 17 and below must have this form filled out as well, which is the student minor reference form. So they need to fill out the 2-page volunteer application as well as this form. If they do not have all 3, their form is not valid, and it will not be valid until all of it is turned in correctly. Okay? For any incidents, this is behavior, injury, anything, practices, qualifiers, you must fill out this incident report. Okay? This is anything. Once you fill it out, you have all the correct information on there. You send it to myself and your area director. Okay? Make sure we both get a copy of this. And any incident, even a sprained ankle, needs to be filled out. Okay? We need this filled out for everything. Protective behaviors, we've gone through this. Anyone that's participating other than athletes must complete protective behaviors. It's quick, it's easy. Send evidence of completion, so the certification of completion, to coaches@slnd.org. Okay? That way we can update your profile and know that you have taken it. This is valid, just like your volunteer application, for 3 years. Okay, coaches certification. All coaches, head coach, assistant coach, anyone that will be coaching must complete the concussion training. We gave you 2 different websites. We have the CDC Heads Up, as well as the NFHS, which is the National Federation of High School Sports, I believe. Both of these online courses, once you've completed them, you send the certificate of completion to coaches@slnd.org. Okay, this will not automatically get sent to us saying that you completed it. You must send us the certificate showing that you completed this course, or you will not get credit. Okay, again, just like the other ones, it's good for 3 years. So as you all know, we usually make you do this coaching sport certification. Always a good idea. Right now, that process is under review, and changes will be made in the next few months. Once we have them finalized, we will report that out. So still go to the coaches' trainings that we have set up. It's never a bad thing to go to these trainings and get more information. At this time, we're going to give you another opportunity to ask some questions. So if you have anything, go ahead and raise your hand, and we can answer those questions.
This is Steve Bennett. Once again, one of the questions was asked about Anne Arundel's hosting of individual skills competition at their competition or qualifier. At this time, we do anticipate that happening, or for that to happen, and for them to be able to do that again this year. Melissa will double check with that and let all the coaches know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'll send out the contact information for that. In the past, they've always done the required qualifier as well as an individual skills competition on the same day. I don't see that changing this year, but I will double check and let everyone know. Are there any other questions? Okay, so at this time, it looks like we're good. If you think of something later on, please don't hesitate to email me and ask me. I'm here for you guys. I'm here as a resource. I just want to thank you again for joining us tonight and taking time out of your busy schedules. We really do appreciate everything that you do for the athletes of Special Olympics Maryland, and none of this can be possible without you guys. So a huge thank you as we get started in the 2018 soccer season. So we are very excited, and I know it's going to be a great season. So please be on the lookout for any the follow-up questions and emails, but do not hesitate to reach out to me with anything that you need throughout the season. I'm here to help you. All right, thank you guys. Have a good night.
Have a good night, everyone.